Aloha mai kako. My name is Rainbow Uli'i, and I am the Student Basic Needs Coordinator for the University of Hawaii's system. And I'm excited to welcome you all here today as new students at University of Hawaii at Manoa. And I'm just going to be going over some of the different resources that we have available for students related to their basic needs. Let me go ahead and silence my phone. Call my and also a little bit about the data that we've collected on student basic needs across the University of Hawaii system. And I prepared a PowerPoint, so why don't we go ahead and open that. Right, so everyone should be able to see my screen. So once again, Velina mai me ke aloha, welcome to the University of Hawaii at Manoa. I'm so excited for your folks' journey here. I just graduated last semester with a master's degree in urban and regional planning, and that was my first time ever at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, and the majority of the time was online. So I'm excited for you folks as you're going to be having the opportunity to attend class in person much more often than I was able to. So welcome, welcome. Once again, my name is Rainbow Uli'i. I'm the Student Basic Needs Coordinator, and this is some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today throughout this presentation. So we're going to start off with the basic needs syllabi statement, and then also we're going to discuss some of the University of Hawaii Basic Needs Committee work, followed by summary of statistics of basic needs insecurity at the University of Hawaii and across the nation. And then we will talk story a little bit about the website that we have, as well as our findhelp.org site and how to navigate that site. So these are two statements. One is in English and the other is in Olelo Hawaii. And these statements are meant to be put into the faculty syllabi so that students who are attending their classes have the ability to log onto our Student Basic Needs website whenever it's most convenient for them. So I'll go ahead and I'll read the one in English. Basic needs include food and housing, childcare, mental health, financial resources, and transportation, among others. Student basic needs security is critical for ensuring strong academic performance, persistence, and graduation, and overall student well-being. If you or someone you know are experiencing basic needs insecurity, please see the following resources. And then that generally is a hyperlink to our Student Basic Needs website, which I will show you a little bit later, and then we'll go through some of the navigation of that. Once again, our syllabi statement has been translated Mako Olelo Hawaii for those kumu who are more likely to teach in Olelo Hawaii. These are for our kumu who are teaching, Olelo Hawaii classes as well as our Hawaiian cultural classes, and so they can also include this into their syllabi for their haumana. This is a quick summary of our University of Hawaii system basic needs committee. So we have a committee, and it was created in October of 2019, and it started off as a recommendation from the food insecurity survey that was administered to students back in, I believe, 2017, 2018. And they found that there should be a creation of a food security committee. And then from that, it became the Basic Needs Committee. And thanks to President Lassner, who made that happen, we have a Basic Needs Committee for the system, and it is comprised of one campus member that supports basic needs planning and programming at their campus. And then we also have a chair who is Albie Miles. He's the chair of the Basic Needs Committee, and he is a faculty member as well over at UH West Oahu. And then I'm the coordinator for the system. And then the associate vice president of student affairs also sits at the head of this committee. At the current time, we don't have an AVPSA, Associate Vice President of Student Affairs, and we're still in the hiring process for that. Right now, we do have Debbie Halbert, who steps in for that position for the time being. In September 2020, we partnered with the Hope Center. The Hope Center is it's an organization that does a lot of studies across the nation on students' basic needs in higher education. And so we partnered with them to be able to administer the the Basic Needs Insecurity Survey. It's called the Real College Survey across students in October of 2020. In January of 2021, I was hired as a UH System Basic Needs Coordinator under a grant from the Castle Foundation. And then we completed the course syllabi statement in February of 2021. We launched the Student Basic Needs website, as well as our partnered findhelp.org site, which I will show you a little bit later. And then in April of 2021, our first Laulima announcement came out. And so I'll show you on Laulima how you can find our Student Basic Needs website, because it's on there. And every semester, 3 times a semester, there will be an announcement that invites students to go ahead and look at our Student Basic Needs website. It happens the first week of school, about the 4th or 5th week of school, and then again at the ending of the semester right before finals. In May 2021, we started our Basic Needs Master Planning process, which was pretty lengthy. It took a little while, and that was ongoing. In May 2021, we also started our summer webinars, which you can find on our website. If you need help navigating the site, it's pretty much what we're going to talk about today. In July of 2021, the survey that we did back here in 2020, those results were released. And so we were able to look at the data that we collected across the University of Hawaii system, and then also across the nation, because the Hope Center also administered a national survey for students in higher ed. In September of 2021, we continued those summer webinars with fall 2021 Student Basic Needs webinars. And then in September of 2021, we also started our Napono Ola Haumana Student Basic Needs website, which was our Olelo Hawaii version of our website. It was launched later in 2021. And then, of course, we had ongoing UH communications and news releases. And so if you're ever, if you get those emails from UH Communications, the University of Hawaii News, sometimes there will be some stuff on student basic needs included there, because we are we're very prominent in UH Communications, and we try to make sure to release as much information for our students, our faculty, and our staff as possible. And then, of course, in February 2022, we released our Student Basic Needs Master Plan, which can also be found on our website. So here are some of the stats that we have, some of the statistics that we have around students' basic needs. And oftentimes a lot of people look at this and they realize how troubling the data is. So I'm going to go over some of that with you. The Hope Center released our UH system report in July of 2021, and found that of the 2% response that we had, 58% of the surveyed students reported some form of basic needs insecurity. So basic needs insecurity includes, in this survey, it talks about food insecurity, homelessness, and housing insecurity. Homelessness is basically when a student is couch surfing or living out of their car. And housing insecurity is when students are having a harder time meeting their bills, paying for their bills, utility bills or rent, or they're facing eviction. So that's the difference between those two. Essentially, if a student was experiencing insecurity in any of those areas, then they would fall under this 58%. 39% of the surveyed students experienced food insecurity in the previous 30 days. 44% of surveyed students experienced housing insecurity in the previous year, and then 14% of surveyed students experienced homelessness in the previous year. So the whole point of sharing this data with you folks is just so that you understand that it's quite common for students here at the University of Hawaii and across the United States to face some form of student basic needs insecurity while they're in college. It's common, and it's not something to be ashamed of. It's a structural issue, and it's something that we're trying to continue to provide students with more resources for. And so you can see here on the right, you can see these columns. This gives you a little bit more information about students who had used, had heard of, but not used, and have not heard of different resources, the resources down here on the bottom. So let's take a look at SNAP. If you're familiar with SNAP, it's basically EBT, SNAP, EBT, food stamps, right? And so there were 53% of students who had heard of but not used help obtaining SNAP. And these are of those who identified that they were basic needs insecure. And so when we see these numbers, it's a little bit troubling, because these programs are available for support, but at the same time, students are not using them. So we want to make sure that we're providing our students with the right resources and the right guidance to be able to close that gap between the needed support and then also the resource. So this is some more data, and this actually takes those numbers I just shared with you and it compares it to the national data. So this is split up by 2-year and 4-year UH system institutions. So community colleges versus like UH Manoa, UH Hilo, and UH West Oahu. And then down here, we're looking at national 2-year institutions and national 4-year institutions. You can see that the numbers across the board are pretty parallel in the way that UH system students are versus those across the nation. And we can just look at one simple example. Looking at 2-year institutions in the UH system, 58% of students identified that they were experiencing any form of basic needs insecurity. And then at the national level, 61% of students who were attending a 2-year institution also expressed that they had experienced some form of basic needs insecurity. So 58 and 61, those numbers are quite similar. So I wanted to include some of my contact information for those of you who have questions about, getting support on your basic needs website. And then also really anything that if you use the site and you see something about the interface that it's not as helpful as it could be, or if you hear of a resource that you think should be included on the Student Basic Needs website, feel free to send me an email at ru3@hawaii.edu. We also have a Student Basic Needs email, uhsbn@hawaii.edu. And then these are links to both of our sites, which I will show you how to get to in a much easier way than just typing in the whole URL. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new share, and we are going to look at the Google Chrome page here. So this page is our Student Basic Needs website. And one way to get here, which is, really easy, is just by clicking here. Like if you have Laulima, right? Everybody uses Laulima, and it's likely that you're going to use Laulima at least once a day. So if you're ever wondering how to get to the site, let's say you have classes, but it's not in the syllabi, and you don't know how to get to our Student Basic Needs website, all you're going to do is scroll down to the bottom of this site, and we do have a link right here next to Title IX. It says Student Basic Needs. So you can click on this link, and it'll open up our Student Basic Needs website for you. So that's the easiest way to get to our site. As I said earlier, there will be reminders on Laulima throughout the semester. But if you don't want to wait for those reminders, feel free to just scroll to the bottom. It's right there, Student Basic Needs, and it's always going to be there. It lives there. So feel free to utilize that. You can also do simple things like, Google UH Student Basic Needs, University of Hawaii Student Basic Needs, and it'll pop up on Google. So you're looking at our Student Basic Needs website now, and you can see here that you're greeted with a really nice olelo no eo, iola no ke kinoi ka ma'o na o ka opu, which means the body enjoys health when the stomach is well filled. Similarly, when we are fed, it's easier to pay attention to what's happening in class. It's easier to know what's happening around us when we're not thinking about when our next meal is going to come. And so this was an olelo no eo, which was quite fitting with the work that we're doing at Student Basic Needs. There's consistent information posted on this right column around news, research, and current events. This could be at the national level and as well as the University of Hawaii level. Anything that relates to Student Basic Needs, we try to make sure to update here in this column. We did create a PSA for our Student Basic Needs website. So if you would like to watch it, I'll go ahead and show it at the end of this webinar so that we can see that. But yeah, it's just an announcement, letting students know that there's support available for all of you. And then if you go down here to this map, you would find your campus. You can click on it, and then it'll take you to a resource page. And I'll show you another way to get to this, to these resource pages as well. Down here, you can see a statement saying that we partnered with findhelp.org, and this findhelp.org site helps us access community, state, and federal basic needs resources. And then, of course, we have a simple search box here. This search box, if you're experiencing a form of basic needs insecurity and you don't want to go through the hassle of trying to look for a bunch of stuff, all you're going to do is type in your zip code here. It'll take you to our findhelp.org site. And then it'll utilize your username and password to log into the site, single sign on, and then you can start searching based on your zip code in your area. So we'll scroll back up and look at the About page. You can see here, the About page, we have another Olalo Noel, Ohehana Nui Ke Alu'ia, and this one talks about how no task is too big when done together by all. Our Student Basic Needs Committee information is on this page, so it's quite fitting. Our committee members are listed here as well. And then down here is the course syllabi statement for all of our kumu. Anybody who would like to, or who needs to find it, to put it in their syllabi, they can find it here very easily. We have our basic needs master plan here. If you're a student and you're interested in going into the planning department like I did, feel free to check out our master's plan here. And then, of course, it's always good to understand what the university is committing to. So I would encourage students, faculty, and staff to really take a brief look at this based on your campus and of course, the system level to see and make sure to, see if the university is meeting its goals. A current events page, this will post some information about what events we're hosting. And then our news page is basically the same thing that you can find in that right column in the home page. It gives a lot of different information here. And then our resources, this is our campus resources. It's just like the map, but all of the campuses are spread out here on this left bar. So we're gonna go to Manoa because you folks are Manoa students. And we are going to look through this page. So everything is divided based on what it consists of. So you can see food assistance, financial help, health services, housing and shelter, and then additional resources. Your campus point of contact is the Office of the Vice Provost for Student Success. But yeah, so here are some of the resources that are available on campus, or those that are, those that faculty, staff, and students have identified as something that's consistently utilized at their campus. And then, of course, here is our Olalo Hawaii version of our website for our Olalo Hawaii speakers. Everything is in Hawaiian, with the exception of this bar that's consistently updated. I'm going to go back to the English, and I'm going to show you how to get to our Student Basic Needs website, our findhelp.org site. So we were at Manoa, and as I said here, you can type in your zip code, real simple. You just type your zip code in. I think I'm going to use 96813, because I think that's a little bit closer to where we are. I'm from the 4-4, so well, I'm not from the 4-4, but from Hauula, but I use that one because I live there now in Waihole. And so you can see that I'm logging into the site, right? I typed in my zip code, I'm logging into the site so that I can access the findhelp.org site. And then here you go. So it already is looking for programs based in the area that I typed in on that zip code in that simple search box. And you can search for different programs and methods of support, resources, whatever it may be, based on these categories up here. So let's say we're looking for something like food support, maybe a food pantry. I could click on food pantry, and then what it'll do is it'll show me all of the areas around me, around this zip code 96813, where there are food pantries available for support. So if I'm looking here, like let's say we're looking at this one right here, the Parish of St. Clement, this church, and they offer a food pantry, and I want to know more about who can access it. They have eligibility for this program listed at the top. They also give some descriptions here. And then when you scroll down, you can see that it'll also give you the hours of operation when this food pantry is accessible to the public. For the next steps, like let's say that you really want to reach out to this program because it fits you super well and what you're looking for, you would click See Next Steps. And they tell you that the best way to do this is, the best way to reach out to the program is to contact them or go to the nearest location to get services. You can also log a referral. If you log a referral, this is only for you and it's not necessarily sent to the program, as you can see here. Instead, the program is going to be sent directly for you. You would fill this out and then you would go ahead and submit it. You can also save this program here if you'd like to. You can create a folder and you can save it. You can press share. You can send it to someone that you know, or you can send it to yourself via text message, email, or even share it on Facebook. You can create notes about this program, and then you can make suggestions of change. So let's say that you're somebody that frequents this program a lot, and you notice that maybe the hours of operation are off. So you could make a suggestion here and just let the website know that this needs to be fixed so that we can make sure that our information is accurate. I'm going to scroll down. So if we see here, emergency food pantry, which is temporarily closed right now, but just for an example, the emergency food pantry at Waikiki Community Center, they accept referrals. So referrals run a little bit differently. If you wanted to refer someone or refer yourself to the program, what you're going to do is you're going to have to fill out this information here. And then what this information is going to do is it's going to be sent directly to the program, and the program is going to reach out to you or whoever it is that you referred. If you're referring someone else, it's important that you make sure to get permission from them or a legal guardian who's over the age of 18 to send their contact information to the program, and then also to send them info about this program. So you have to get permission from them before typing in all their information, because you are sharing contact information with this program directly. But a referral is a really good way to connect with the program directly, either yourself or those who you refer. So unfortunately, not a lot of these programs actually accept referrals, and most of them would actually just suggest that you either call them or visit them, which is just as fine too. So I encourage you to utilize this based on whatever it is that works best for you. You can see here at the top that we can narrow our searches, so you can include personal filters up here, check mark, whatever it is that works best or is related to the kind of program that you're looking for. You can also include program filters, and then income eligibility is another one. If you're a part of the LGBTQ plus Ohana, then feel free to click here for some of the resources that have been vetted by our LGBTQ plus community for utilization. These programs were identified as those who are really helpful when it comes to serving our LGBTQ plus family and Ohana. And that's pretty much it. So this is the front face of the Student Basic Needs findhelp.org site. So it's really important just to keep in mind we do have two sites. One of them is our hawaii.edu site. That's this one here. This will give you campus-based resources, right? You look here, it's all campus-based resources. And then utilizing any of the links that say findhelp.org or our simple search box on our website, you will be taken to our findhelp.org site, which is right here, if I can get past the Zoom thing, which is up at the top. And of course, we want to just encourage all students to utilize it to the best of their ability so that it's serving them and their needs. Now, if you know somebody, like let's say you make a friend outside of the university and they don't have a University of Hawaii login, email address, or password, then what you can do is open up the public findhelp.org domain, and it'll take you to a website that's accessible to everyone. So this website here is accessible to anybody. It doesn't have to be a University of Hawaii affiliate. You can go ahead and type in your zip code. So like, let's say I'm just a community member and I was looking for resources, type in my zip code here, 96744. And what's going to happen is it's going to show you pretty much the same exact resources that we have on our University of Hawaii findhelp.org site. The difference is that there are some specific resources that are only for UH students and faculty and staff versus this site where it offers programs that are for everyone. Another thing is that utilizing our findhelp.org site with the partnered with the UH site is really good because we have the ability to track things on the back end and to see what it is that students are looking for. Oftentimes, food, housing, and money are the top 3 searches when it comes to student basic needs. And students are most commonly utilizing this website to search for those top 3 things. Of course, there are many other services that are offered here, so I highly encourage you to go ahead and use this site as much as possible to fit your needs. And then I did say that we would show our video. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and open it. I think I have to disconnect my AirPods. So go ahead and do that again this way. So here is our Student Basic Needs PSA video.
Aloha kako. At some point in your educational journey, you may face challenges with accessing adequate food, housing, childcare, financial or other resources. This is called basic needs insecurity, and it's common across students in higher education. We want you to know that it's not your fault that you're facing these challenges, and your university is here to help. Basic needs include everything from food and housing to childcare, mental health services, financial resources, and transportation. Basic needs security is critical to students to ensure strong academic performance, success, and overall well-being. In 2020, the Hope Center for College, Community, and Justice found that across the United States, nearly 3 in 5 college students experienced some form of basic needs insecurity. Among those who faced these challenges, 52% didn't know how to find the support they needed. With this in mind, the University of Hawaii has set up the Student Basic Needs website. Our website, in partnership with findhelp.org, makes it easy to see all of the campus, community, state, and federal resources available to you. We are also proud to announce that our site has been translated into Olelo Hawaii. There's so much support out there, so please visit our Student Basic Needs website to see how we can help. Mahalo.
All right, so that is our PSA announcement. And as we said in the video, I would like to encourage you to utilize our Student Basic Needs website as a resource that all students can find other resources for around student basic needs support. Remember that when you're experiencing a student basic needs insecurity effect, whether it be food insecurity, housing insecurity, homelessness, whatever it may be, remember that it's not your fault. It's a structural issue, and we're continuing to try to make sure that our students' basic needs are consistently met. So I want to mahalo you once again for taking the time to watch this video. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person, but I want to encourage you once again to utilize our Student Basic Needs resource as much as you need it. Alrighty, aloha.